Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from Northfield, Minnesota for game number 4 of the Raiders shootout for Mpls Bantam B1 Bla. This is the game for 5th place. The Storm had a rough day yesterday with losing 2 relatively close matches. Ended up losing the last game. They were tied going into, or tied very late in the game with a minute or so to go, but needed a win in order to make it into the championship game. And a tie really did them no good, so they pulled the goalie and ended up losing on an empty netter with about 13 seconds left to go in the game. So they're now here to take on Red Wing in this 5th place game. Storm are down 2 players. Colin Moose and George Lego are both home with ailments, so Storm will be down 2 skaters. I'm understand over the last several games the microphone has been rather spotty and I've been not coming in terribly clear, so I've switched up microphones, trying a new microphone, and we'll see how this one works. Hopefully I'm coming in a little clearer today. Looks like a Storm are going to start off with Marsh, Gaston, and Jung on the front line. James Meyer and Camadair on D. This is brought into the zone by Jackson Gaston. He's knocked off the puck. There's a shot by James Meyer. That's a little wider than that. Kept in the zone by Jackson. Spun around by Will Marsh now. Now brought out of the zone by Red Wing. Well, they get a shot on net, but steered away by Ben Just. Just in goal today. Allen picks up the loose puck, sends it down in. Now back comes Red Wing through the neutral zone. And we're going to have a stoppage of play as the net was knocked off the post. Just underway here in this 5th place game here. 13:54 left in the opening period. Here is O'Day on the faceoff. Here's an outlet to Archie Reardon, but that's off of his stick. Otto dumps this into the zone. Colin feeds it to Archie. Archie now gets a shot. Now Beck fires one. Pad saved by Red Wing. Spun around to Griffin. Griffin fires one. That's off the pad. Loose puck bounces in the air. Colin tries to backhand it in, but goes wide. Now back comes Red Wing. And we're going to have an offsides on Red Wing. Tyson Jung sends this around the boards. Comes out to Cam Adair. Cam's going to fire one. That's off his stick. Now loose puck in the crease. Kicked out of there by Red Wing. Intercepted now by Will Marsh. Will shovels it back in. Now here's Cam Adair. He's going to leave it for Will Marsh. Will fires one. That is wide of the net. Now right out front is Jackson, but that Jackson lets it slide off the end of his stick. Otto sends it out front, but it was a little wide. Back fires one. Colin comes in, tries to wrestle it away, but eventually comes to Griffin. Colin is going to dump this and go off for a line change as Tyson Jung comes in. Sent in by Beck as Archie chases. Puck comes out of the zone, but Griffin's there to pick it up, sends it over to Beck. Beck's going to bring it in and dump it. That's going to be icing on Red Wings, so we'll come back down into the Storm offensive zone for a face-off. 10:37 left in this opening period. Still no score. Here's Colin on the face-off. Loose puck picked up by Red Wing. Kept in the zone, though, by Cam Adair. Colin throws this weakly toward the net. James Meyer fires one. Now here's Colin with it in the circle. He's going to send it back out to James. James fires another one. Colin picks up the loose puck and fires it at the net, but covered by Red Wing. Here's the face-off. Will Marsh sends it back to Beck. Beck tries to fire a shot, but blocked. Back behind the net, he outlets. Here's Will Marsh. Sends it over to Jackson. Jackson gets a shot on goal. Kicked away by the Red Wing goalie. This one's intercepted by Otto. Yeah, Otto's got a shot and he buries it. So that'll make it 1-0 Minneapolis with 9:05 left in the opening period. Here's Here's Colin on the faceoff. Colin kicks it back to James, who dumps it in. Colin picks up the loose puck. He skates it through the neutral zone, leaves it for Otto. Otto now fires one high. Puck comes out into the high slot. Archie's there. Now here's James Meyer. James is going to skate it into the slot. Oh, he fires one. That's off the goalie. And this one gets knocked all the way out. James has to come back and get it. Outlet to Colin. Ben Scory with it in the corner. He centers it out. And Red Wing gets it out of the zone, but now Red Wing cross the blue line. They lose it. Tyson's going to dump that one down. Will Marsh with a shot. That one caroms over the goalie. Here's a nice pass right out in a high slot to Will Marsh. He fires another one, but that's deflected high. Otto takes his man down. And that's going to be an icing on Minneapolis, so we'll head back down to the Red Wing offensive zone for a face-off with 6:42 in the first. This one gets knocked all the way down. No icing call, so now this one's picked up by Colin. Colin fires one. That's off the goalie. Here's Cam with the puck. He goes over to his defensive mate, and James fires it toward the zone, but it's picked up by Red Wing. Archie sends it out to Tyson. Tyson now skates it down, stops, sends it across to Will Marsh. Will fires it, but that is gloved by the Red Wing goalie. Shots are now 13-0 in favor of Minneapolis as the Storm really dominated the offensive zone time and not really given Red Wing much to work with when they had it in their zone. And now Red Wings going to skate this out into the zone. There's a shot at Ben. There's their first shot on goal. As Ben steers that one up into the boards. Here's Ben Scory. He stops, gets some space for himself, and fires one, but goalie covers that one. Colin comes back in on the faceoff. He wins it over to Jackson. Red Wing. Now Red Wing gets in. Oh, they got a shot. That one had a chance. They just missed the net wide. Now this puck comes to Jackson. Jackson comes in for a shot. Collins sends it to the high slot, but it's intercepted by Red Wing, and down they send it. 3:35 left in this opening period. Colin comes over to pick up the loose puck. There's another shot, second shot on goal for Red Wing. Now this is going to be an icing call. Loose puck comes to Griffin. Now Griffin, or no, this is Will Marsh is going to bring it in. He centers it out nicely to a beautiful pass to Tyson Jung, and Tyson got a shot on goal. Now Tyson's trying to wrestle it away as he didn't take very kindly to the hit he took. Marsh wrestles this one away. Sends it out to Griffin. Griffin fires one. That's wide of the net. Now here's Beck with it. Beck's going to come in. Skate it behind the net. Circling. He leaves it for Griffin. Now Beck with it. Beck fires it. It's deflected into the corner. Here's Will Marsh as he was trying to get a breakaway opportunity there as he was trying to catch Red Wing in a line change. Collins sends this one down and chases. Stormer getting a change. As James Meyer fires one off the mark. Now Ben Scory with it. Now Ben Scory brings it across. Pops out right out in front. Mason sends it out to Griffin. Oh, Griffin goes down, and that gives an opportunity for Red Wing. That was, as they get a shot on that, but Ben scoots out and covers it. So 9.2 seconds left here in this opening period. I believe we're going to have a resurface of the ice after this period, so we'll have a brief break before we start the second. And that'll be the end of the first period with the Storm leading 1-0. Shots saves, let's see, 1 goal on 17 shots for Minneapolis. No goals on 3 shots for Red Wing. And we are going to resurface as the Zamboni door is opening here. We'll take a little bit of a break here and be back on the air in about 15 minutes. Okay, welcome back to period number 2 of this Minneapolis Red Wing game. Storm are leading 1-0 going into this second period. Storm will be going right to left now as Will Marsh is ready to take the face-off. Will Jackson and Archie up front. Here's Cam with it. Cam's going to shovel it in. Will Marsh sends it around. Jackson comes over to try to pick it up, but Red Wing controls. They're going to outlet to number 10, who brings it across the blue line. Halfback sends this into the zone. Collin comes away with it. He backhands one toward the net, but pad saved by the Red Wing goalie. Otto with it. Otto tries to get it to Collin, but that was a little behind him. Griffin wrestles this one away. Now he brings it through the zone, comes to Tyson. Tyson chips it ahead to Archie. Archie in the corner. Will Marsh sends one wide. Now Cam sends one that was redirected and had to be covered by the goalie. Cam sends one down, picked up by Red Wing. Now Will Marsh sends it out to Cam. Cam fires one. That's nice save by the Red Wing goalie. The Red Wing goalie has actually done a pretty good job so far. Saved 19 shots. Face-off sends it over to Ben Score. Misplayed by James for a second, but he recovers. Here's an outlet to Ben Score. Ben brings it across the line. Back now, sends it to Collin. Collin sends one high. Archie. Here's Beck with it. Beck's gonna skate it in. That's knocked off of his stick and slides to the goalie where he covers it. There's a replay of the previous 3 games here in this tournament. The Storm are getting plenty of shots on goal, but just not able to get it in the net. They're now 24 shots on goal, but only 1 goal. Yesterday they outshot their opponent 2-1 and lost 2-1, so they need to figure out how to get the puck in the net here. Backfires one that was redirected. Nice play by the goalie to recover for that one. He loses control, comes the Red Wing, and trying to get it out of the zone, but Storm doing a good job of keeping the zone time here. Looks like that's going to be an icing on the Storm, so come back down into the Red Wing offensive zone for the faceoff. 9:27 left here in the second period. This one's knocked out of there by Colin. Comes to Ben Score. He loses control. Now Colin picks it up. Colin just dumps it into the corner. Back comes Red Wing. A loose puck picked up by Beck. Sent back around by Red Wing. Now they center one out, but that one is knocked away by Cam Adair. Now here comes Jackson with it. Jackson gets it to Colin. Now puck loose in the slot, but picked up by Red Wing. Beck sends it down. Now brought in by Will Marsh. Will fires one. Nice save by the goalie. And that puck comes right our way. And thank goodness for the beams here that protected us a little from the flying puck. And now we're back underway here. Storm with it in their zone, trying to wrestle it away. This is Will Marsh behind the net. Will sends it out to Beck. Beck sends one into the corner. Back outlets up to Tyson, then to Will Marsh. Will tries to send it to the net, but blocked. Now out to Griffin. Griffin fires one from long range. And there's a shot that Ben scoops up, leaves it. One comes to Colin, but he loses it, picks up the loose puck again, sends it around. Oh, and there's an opportunity as Colin fed it out to Ben Score. Now Tyson, Tyson misfires from right in front of the net. Colin with a loose puck. He's going to send it down in, but kicked away by the goalie. Now James sends one. Pad save for the goal. Oh, and there's another shot now, and finally goes in. I think that was Colin that got that goal to make it 2-0 now. I was just going to comment on the Red Wing goalie. It stopped 32 shots so far. Could not stop the 34th shot, though. Will Marsh picks up the loose puck. He fires one. Another save by the Red Wing goalie. Shot by Griffin. That was deflected. This one comes out of the zone, but picked up by Griffin. He sends it back in, and the Storm are offsides. Here's Will Marsh on the faceoff. Comes to James. James just throws it down into the zone. Loose puck comes to Ben Score. This comes out of the zone. Will Marsh will have to come back and get it. He sends it off of James' leg and comes to Cam. Ben. Now here's Will Marsh in the slot. He sends it toward the net, but it's intercepted. Archie now picks up the loose puck. He's going to try to skate it in for a shot. Now he thinks better of it, leaves it for Beck. Beck from the outside. Now Beck comes in, fires one on net. Cam gets his pocket picked, and Red Wing fires it to Ben. Ben knocks it down, leaves it for Beck. Red Wing sends it down and out, so we'll have a stoppage of play on a face-off in the Red Wing offensive zone with 2:59 left in this second period. 2-0 Storm. Taken 36 shots on goal and only able to get 2 of them in the net so far. There's one right through the crease and over to the other side now. Outlet to Colin, a little bit off. Too far for him to handle. Now sent back into the Red Wing offensive zone. Griffin gets there first. Now Colin with the loose puck. Colin's got an opportunity here if he can get in, and he skates around the goal out to Ben Score. Now to Griffin. Fired by Jackson up over the net. And that's going to be an icing on Red Wing, so offensive zone face-off for the Storm. Marsh on the faceoff comes to Archie. Archie leaves it for Cam. Otto. Back to Otto. Now Otto through the circle. Otto gets in there and fires a hard one that's deflected into the glass. Oh, and there was a nice redirect.
Use your whistles, it's wrong.
And that one squirts in there as James took a shot from outside, and it was, I believe, redirected in right through the 5-hole, so that'll make it now 3-0 Storm. Now Colin on a face-off, he wins it back to Beck. Collins trying to chase this one down. He's going to get there first and send it toward the net, but now this one is lifted out of there. Tyson will have to pick it up. Comes to Griffin. Griffin sends it back in, but right back out. Collins going to just dump this in, and he was the other wrong side of the red line, so they're going to call an icing on that one. Here's a Will Marsh on the breakout. Will loses the handle on it. And back comes the Red Wing. And there's a shot from the outside that Ben knocks down and scoops up. So 15.5 seconds left here in this second period. And that'll be the end of the second period with a Storm leading 3-0. 3 goals on 44 shots for Minneapolis. No goals on 5 shots for Red Wing. Red Wing, I believe, only got 2 shots on goal that entire period. So the Storm will be taking a little bit of a break from games here for the holiday. So this is their last game of 2025. Next game will be January 3rd as they start back up with district play. They will be, I believe it's Armstrong Cooper that they're taking on the 3rd of January. And then they have a full January with a lot of district games as well as another tournament. They will have another out-of-town tournament heading up to Hibbing on January 16th, I believe, is the date. And then they'll wrap up the regular season around the 5th or 6th of February, I believe, is their end of the regular season. And then they will start district play after that, or district tournament play. They'll have a district tournament, and then typically the top 2 teams from that district tournament will move on to the region tournament, and then from there, should they make it through the region tournament, they'll go to the state finals. So that's the path ahead for Minneapolis over the next couple of months. As we're about ready to get underway here with the third period, Colin O'Day on the face-off. Colin Jackson and James, it looks like, switching up the lineups here a little bit. It looks like James has switched to a forward, or a wing, I should say. Oh, face off right down front here. That one squirts past Cam. He has to chase it in the corner. He's going to send it over to his other defensive mate, which it looks like is now Otto Hutchins, as now Otto's come in and switch positions, move to defense. And now we're finally going to have a penalty, it looks like, as Jackson gets taken down, and Red Wing will now get called for the trip. So I wasn't quite sure these whistles work for these officials, as they haven't really called anything the entire game, but that was pretty obvious. So Storm will go on the power play now. Will Marsh knocks it ahead, but it comes to Red Wing. A loose puck out to Otto. Otto shoots one, but it's wide. Now Ben Score with it. Ben skates it in. Now to Cam. Cam tries a wraparound, but the goalie was ready for that one. That one gets sent all the way down. That'll be an icing call. So 1:28 left on the penalty to Red Wing. Colin in on the face-off. Gets tied up and goes down. Loose puck is controlled briefly by James. Now the Red Wing comes away with it. They're going to send it out. That should be another icing call. It is. So we'll stay right here. Face-off, he sends it back to Griffin. Griffin cross ice over to Beck. Beck now to Colin. That one bounces off the skate. Now Red Wings got an opportunity here. Storm need to get back, and they do. Now Colin with the loose puck. He's going to send it up to James. James goes cross ice to Archie, but Archie can't catch up to that one. Colin is going to bring it across. He's going to wait, leave it for Tyson. Tyson fires one in as Tyson from the circle got one past the goalie, and that will now make it 4-0 as they score on the power play. Colin with the assist. Marsh brings it in. He leaves it for Jackson, and Jackson fires one. That's off the post, or the crossbar, I should say, as Jackson made a bid for the goal. back in on the face-off. This is brought in by Ben Story, but Red Wing controls. Loose puck in the high slot picked up by Ben Story. Ben still with it. Now it comes into the zone and gets over to Colin. Colin goes off of the crossbar. This one floats down behind the net. Comes all the way out, but Storm will have to come back on sides now. Otto comes in. He's looking for a shot. He fires one. That's off the goalie. There's a shot. That one's knocked down by one of the Red Wing players. Chipped in by Archie, but comes to Red Wing. Red Wing sends it around. Misfires on the shot, comes to Will Marsh, but Will throws it ahead. James sends that one around. Or sorry, that was Griffin that sent that one around. That'll be offsides on Minneapolis. Colin throws this in, but it comes to Red Wing. Chipped in. Otto wrestles it away. It comes to James. James outlets to Cam. Cam's going to bring it across. Leaves it for James. James fires it, but it's wide of the net. James backhands that one toward the goalie, but the goalie was to the task and covered that one. Actually, that's the 50th shot on goal for Minneapolis, so this Red Wing goalie has certainly gotten a workout today. Stopped 46 shots so far. Ben Story comes in low. Will takes a whack at it. Now here's a shot from Cam. Cam's going to now come into the slot. Now Cam gets in there nicely, takes a nice shot, but saved once again by the Red Wing goalie. Some of the 53 shots from the Storm today have been right in the midsection of the goalie, but some of them, like that last one, are tough shots to save. The goalie's really done a great job today. And that one goes out of play, so we'll have a stoppage and a face-off in the Red Wing offensive zone. With 8:41 left here. 4-0 Storm. Colin on the faceoff. He wins it back to Griffin. That one's sent into the corner. Archie trying to wrestle this away. He gets it, tries to get it to Colin, but it's behind him. Archie wrestles this away. He tries to skate around too. Eventually centers it out there, but it's off a Collins stick. Now Beck comes in, picks it up. Tyson sends it across to Archie, but off of his stick. Now Red Wing comes in, picks it up. Oh, Collin intercepts it. Collin comes in, fires one toward the net, off the pad of the goalie. Tyson out to Archie. Pass right out front into the slot, but Red Wing couldn't quite handle that one. Puck comes out of the zone. Storm will have to regroup. Otto's going to send that one in. Intercepted by Will Marsh. Now here's Will Marsh in the circle, and Will snipes one into the upper right-hand corner. So that will make it 5-0 now. Face off, tied up, comes to Will Marsh again. Will brings it across. He throws it back out there, but Storm are out of position and came out of the zone. They had to regroup, so here is Red Wing now trying to bring it out. Collins sends it over to James. James just throws it out to center ice. Here's a shot that's up over the net. Five minutes left in this one. Storm kind of looking like they're just trying to get this one over with. Now Ben Score brings this in. He's going to leave it for Griffin, but that was in his skate and directed it toward the net, but it's covered by Red Wing. Looks like we're going to have a running clock here with a 5-goal lead, so this one will be over fairly quickly here with the running clock. Now this one comes to Tyson. Tyson now to Will Marsh. Will maneuvers around. Looking behind the net. He's going to send it back out to Cam. Cam fires one, but right at the goalie, and he covers it. He or she, I can't really tell with the long hair, could be either. There's another one that rolls toward the net and is covered by Red Wing. skips over Otto's stick, and Storm will have to regroup here as it comes into the Red Wing zone with 3:10 left. Here's Beck behind the net. He goes off the boards to Tyson. Tyson leaves it for Will. Will gets taken down. Now he picks up the loose puck and skates it around. Brings it into the zone. Back over to Griffin. Griffin brings it in. Now Griffin throws it toward the net. Goalie was ready for that one. Archie loses it. And Red Wing was ready for a line change, so they just dumped it in and went off. 2 minutes in this one. Loose puck picked up by Collin. Collin skates it in, fires one toward the net. That one bounces out of there as it hits the pad of the goalie. Tied up along the boards here, trying to wrestle it away. Eventually it comes to Jackson, but now this one skips over Beck's stick and out. Jackson now with the outlet. He's got Tyson on the other side. Sends one toward the net, and Tyson with the rebound. But again, nice job by the goalie to get back and recover to keep that one out of the net. So that is the 61st shot on goal faced by this goalie. Otto sends another one toward the net. That's pad saved by the goalie. Save number 55 or 56. This one's intercepted by Will Marsh. Will sends one in, but pad saved by the goalie is deflected up into the netting. And that will be the end of this one here. I don't even think we're going to get this face-off in here as we have the running clock. Maybe we might. 10 seconds left. And there's another shot sent toward the net. So 59 shots on goal are saved by the Red Wing goalie, but the Storm come away here with a 5-0 victory in this game in the Raiders shootout here, as they will take 5th place in this tournament. As I mentioned, they have a little bit of a break, so we'll take a break for the holidays and be back on the air in January 3rd for the next game. And until then, good night.